Hello and welcome to another video. One of my favorite dishes from Ethiopian restaurants is a dish called Kitfo, which is a raw beef preparation spiced with various spices. And I'm going to make some for you today. This is delicious. It is, of course, a dish where you need to trust your meat source. Being here in Germany, I trust even the meat I get at the supermarket, so that's what I'm using. If you're in the US, maybe you want to think a little more carefully about that. At any rate, what I'm going to use here is some beef. Here, this is sold as Rindersch Schmorbraten aus der Keule. Basically, this is meat off the leg, and this is typically the cut you want. You want like a round in US terms. We will use butter. We will clarify this butter, and we will add spices to both the meat and the butter. Spices will include bird's eye chilies, which are used not only in Indonesian cuisine, they're also used in African cuisine. Now, in Ethiopia, they use a cardamon-like spice, but I can't get it here, so I'm going to substitute cardamon. Black pepper. A little bit of garlic and a little bit of ginger, and of course salt. So that's all we're going to use here. Let's go ahead and get started. So I've added a small handful of bird's eye chilies and about 4 cardamom pods, the seeds in here, and I've crushed everything together. I think if you're in the US, like a spice grinder would work better, but basically I used a rock here in the saucer. So next I'm going to add a generous amount of black pepper. And basically, you know, you can look up the ingredients to Mitmita, which is basically what I'm making here. Everybody has their own recipe for it, and there's some general ingredients that may or may not be present. I've decided to add a little bit of garlic powder, just because I think that will mellow out the cardamom a little bit. And a little bit of ginger. And there we go. This will be our spice mixture, and this will go with approximately 1 kilogram of meat. So next I will start cutting and grinding the meat. We'll add a bit of this to every grind run, along with a bunch of salt. In fact, I'm just going to add the salt right now to here. This, I would say, you know, a couple teaspoons, maybe a tablespoon salt. And we'll go from there. So first I trim like the grisel that I can trim off. And I'm going to cut this into just kind of cubes. And you can put it in a food processor or something similar. And basically for every batch that I run through, I will add a portion of my Mitmita, and we'll go from there. So here we go. Take and then I'll go ahead and grind it. And I'll be right back. And I usually grind it until it more or less forms a ball. And you can see it has a consistency a little bit different from ground beef. There are going to be some big pieces that are stuck together. We may want to pull those out. But for the most part, this should be nicely ground down. I'm going to go ahead and set this in a bowl and come back with the next batch. So while I was grinding this, I clarified some butter and I added another 4 bird's eye chilies to it while I clarified it, so this will be a little bit spicy. You could use cayenne pepper in place of bird's eye chilies in both cases. Now, I'm going to pour this warm clarified butter now that's spicy over the top of the meat. And I'm going to stir it all together. And this way also the fact that not all of the spices got evenly added to the pieces that were being cut will get evened out a little bit. We'll end up with this buttery, spicy mixture of beef that I really like to eat when I go to Ethiopian restaurants. All right, next will be the taste test, and then I will eat it both with a piece of my first attempt at Ethiopian flatbread and by itself. So now for the taste test. Taste a little bit of it first by itself. That's really good. You can taste the cardamom, spiciness, the ginger, all of this kind of blends together in this just great flavor profile. Now I'm going to try some with this first attempt at this flatbread. Now, this injera flatbread that you're used to seeing at Ethiopian restaurants, I tried to make some, didn't quite come out. See all about that in another video. But came out well enough that I think I can eat them together. So I'm going to try that. Now this is quite something. Even as imperfect as it is, the injera just adds that extra dimension to the meat. This is great. I strongly recommend, if you like Kitfo, that you go ahead and try to make it at home, because it's actually not that hard and it's really, really delicious. Anyway, if you find this content interesting, I hope I've earned a subscription from you, and please click the bell so that you can be notified when I make more videos. And of course, if there are any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments of the video. I always try to get back to those, no matter what the content of the comment is. And of course, when I look at trying to figure out what videos to make more of, I look at the likes and the views primarily. So with that in mind, I just want to say bon appetit and see you next week.